Well, Sreeram Chaulia is Dean of the Jindal School of International Affairs and joins us now on Skype from Sonipat, India. Professor, India and Pakistan already have a strained relationship. How will this attack affect that?
It's, I think, rock bottom already, and it's only going to go into the negative now. Unfortunately, these attacks that keep being perpetrated on Indian soil from across the border by jihadist groups, which are sheltered and sponsored by the Pakistani state establishment, do not make matters any worse, and it cannot make matters any worse. Already, it's quite strained, as you're right, and I think India is looking at military options, at diplomatic isolation, at possible resumption of surgical strikes that Mr. Prime Minister Modi had ordered in 2016. There are a whole gamut of retaliatory measures to try and establish deterrence as far as India is concerned, and if it implements most of these, Pakistan is also going to react sharply and deny its hand, as has always been the case. So we are caught in a vicious spiral, and I think India needs to step up to another level in terms of sustaining the isolation campaign, because usually in the past India has done this, but then again we have let go of the pressure. Diplomatic and international. I think we need to lobby China, especially. We need to lobby the Organization of Islamic Cooperation members. We need to, of course, use the Western countries and try and create a regional consensus that this is not acceptable and change Pakistan's behavior. So it's a tall order that we are facing, because here is a state that uses non-state actors, allegedly non-state actors, for strategic ends by pushing infiltrators who commit jihad in the name of a holy war against our forces. So I think we are actually facing a systemic strategic threat that's a long-term threat, and we should treat it far more seriously than has been the case in the past, and take it up in a full spectrum way.
Professor, you told us a little bit about non-state actors there. Tell us more about this group, Jaish-e-Mohammed, that's claimed responsibility for this attack.
Jaish-e-Mohammed is nearly 20 years old or longer. It has been involved in a number of operations against Indian forces and Indian civilians in Indian-administered Kashmir. And Jaish-e-Mohammed is very close to the Pakistani state establishment, to the military intelligence complex. Its leader, Maulana Masood Azhar, is a hardline preacher, a Salafist jihadist preacher who has had links to Afghan Taliban and even to Al-Qaeda in the past. He has not been prosecuted or brought to book by the Pakistani authorities, even though India has been demanding for a long time. So I think the time has come. Many in India believe that we must take the law into our hands and either use targeted assassinations or blow up some of these camps, as we have done once before in 2016, because there's a whole terrorist infrastructure that is in Pakistan right under the nose of the military establishment. So even though they say they are non-state actors and we are trying our best, the fact is that they cannot carry out such massive attacks like the one in Kashmir we had yesterday. 350 kilograms. The improvised devices were assembled and brought to attack our forces. And we had mass casualties. So it was not a small-time act. It involved an external force that was abetting and sponsoring this. So I think we need to really take the matter by the scruff of the neck now. And I think increasingly in India, people are vexed with this kind of a vicious cycle I mentioned before, and people are looking for some kind of a permanent solution to this, which would mean, as I said, the full spectrum of deterrence measures, diplomatic,
Professor,
economic, as well as...
I just want to ask you there, to be clear, are you advocating military intervention by India in Pakistan as opposed to just revoking trade privileges, for instance, which is what India is threatening to do?
Trade privileges, will not hurt much, because, frankly, Pakistan exports less than $1 billion worth of products to India because of the strained relations. We really don't have much bilateral trade anyway. So we will need to use, the Chinese pressure to control this menace in Pakistan, because the Chinese have a lot of leverage on Pakistan through the China-Pakistan economic corridor. And of course, yes, we have done surgical strikes before. Our military has entered Pakistani territory and carried out clinical attacks on terror training camps that are massed on the other side of the border, and those can certainly be, I think, used again, because the last time it happened, there was an attack on an Indian military camp, and within 11 days, India said we will strike back at a time and a place of our choosing, and Narendra Modi fulfilled that, and we did that, what we call the surgical strikes. So I think surgical strikes are very much on the cards, although it is snowing now and it's heavily blanketed the border in the Himalayas. But nonetheless, there are means and ways by which our military has been tracking these groups on the other side. We could use missiles. There are options on the table that I think it's going to be proportional to what the harm they have inflicted on us, but it will definitely be exacting a revenge, but also going beyond that, we need to establish, as I said, long-term deterrence through a mixture of different policies.
Thank you, Professor. That was Sreeram Chaulia from the Jindal School of International Affairs. Thank you.